All right, guys. We had a slight interruption, but we're going to try to get back in. Popping back in. All right, we're back in.
So he enjoys more show tunes. Silver Crybaby. Go ahead, Zers. You said you wanted to say something.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say I'm gonna sign off for the night. It's been quite a while. I've had a lot of fun. You good?
That's fair.
Cool meeting you,
Have a
Zer.
good night, Zers. Thanks for stopping by.
Bye, Zer. Can we address the church thing for a second and relationships for a second?
5G internet decided to shit the bed like normal.
They bought you another hour, so we have to admire them. Star, what is your channel about?
Everything.
Just put you on the big screen while you talk.
Everything from what's going on in the
All right, we're back.
Entertainment industry. I'm moving into health. I'm gonna have a life.
We are so fucking back. All right.
Who the fuck is
really
talking
cool.
right now?
I don't know.
I am
like,
so.
who's this?
I am so sorry. I thought I was muted. I thought I hit the mute button. I am so sorry.
Okay, don't worry about it. So that's what my show is about. Boobies and based opinions. There we go. Yeah.
I feel like we need to hear more.
Had me at boobies.
Let's see, I got stuff about the online cults of online spaces and, you know, everything coming down the pike, honestly. Stuff
That was
about
embarrassing.
vegan. Why not?
I didn't hit the mute button. I like double hit the mute button, guys. That was problematic.
Did anybody actually hear anything she said? I feel like she needs to repeat herself.
I do.
Whoever said yes, you're stupid.
Sorry, I heard it all.
You did?
She said current events, news, health. She has a life coach coming in.
Yep.
She has she will talk about
entertainment, yeah.
Lumberjack.
Yeah.
Lumberjack.
And
You're
Radical
not hearing
Coder,
me. Not hearing
doesn't
me.
like boobies. He doesn't like me.
I'm
cringe opinion.
I'm admiring the
Cool.
strength of her desk.
The what? The what?
You can all blame Lumberjack for me ending that briefly. Matthew with the big 5. One more to keep us pushing. Carrie sends 5. Another 5. I'm guessing that was towards the goal. Ms. White Lady, Mrs. White Lady sends 10, says, keep it going, guys. And then Blake sends 5 to say 5 more minutes, Jason, for that weird goodbye wave. You got 5 in the back. All right. And Silver Eagle is still...
You're going to stay on stream for until you see the sunrise.
If they want it, they get it. They just have to prepay that extra hour, because I'm not going to do an extra hour just for them to sit here and talk shit for nothing.
I have no idea why they keep on sending Jason back. I actually jumped on this panel just to say, listening to Jason, I was so impressed. I don't necessarily believe him, but I'm actually, from what he said, my logic says that he's probably right, but I haven't researched enough to know that he's right. But my logic says that guy's freaking on point.
Yeah.
Lumberjack, I was on one panel with you before. I totally respect the things that you say. My wife and I have been exploring, going into realty. So I had to jump on here. When it comes to Radical Coder, I'm also a developer, but I'm not a realtor. So I'm not an expert in that area. I'm not an economist. But I can totally see, as a business owner, because I actually own the company that does all our development, how a 10% overhead from the very top can cause 50% decrease in productivity in the bottom.
Yes.
And removing that, and that's the one thing that I think he was really missing. He's just, and you knew he chat GPT'd it, right? And he's looking at a number there. It wasn't, he didn't do his homework. He did a quick search.
The website, bro.
Right. And this is why I was saying, I liked what Jason said, but I'm not going to accept what Jason said just because Jason said it.
Website.
I'm going to look into, and I bet you if you look in deeper, there's going to be a lot more information, right?
There is.
These are some of the things you just have to look at.
So Vibe, I appreciate what you're saying, because I think that, very often, I know what it's like to run a company. I run a number of them. When you understand, that certain dollars have multipliers to them, I think is a.
I need to get a drink. I am. My throat is dry as motherfucker. So I'm gonna grab a drink real quick.
What it's like to run a business, and so that's where I just think Ryan's out of his depth. It's not me.
Who the fuck Be a good panelist. Know
It is
better.
not me. I swear, it's not me.
All right, tell me if I mute if it goes away.
Nope, still there.
I have been very well.
Yeah, it's not me.
I
It
have,
was
I have
some
no
kind of
music.
like it was either our music is on, but there's some kind of like doo doo doo.
I thought I was crazy
Yeah,
hearing that.
I hear
Yeah,
it.
I've been hearing it the whole show.
It's like the diner music.
Going off.
I don't think it's me because I don't have anything playing.
But yeah, Vibe, I
I
very
don't know.
much appreciate what you said because I think that it's. I was talking about this with Sarah, I think beforehand, but then we talked a little bit about it when we were speaking with each other live. And it is, very often people in that developer role or in any of that frontline role, very often understand what their bosses are managing, what their owners are managing. They really don't understand that those pieces because they've never done it before. And so it's tough when they come off guns blazing like Ryan always does, believing that he believes that I know this because I read it on the internet one time. And I watched a documentary. That's just what makes him a fool. Because if you actually run a business and you manage people, you
That's fucked
recognize
up.
that
Every
there's
man,
multipliers in
every
business and
man's
there's
cam is just
detractors
a
in
different
business,
stage of beard
but
growth. I
he
like
doesn't
it.
understand that
I
because he
like
just
it.
read
It's
from
actually
a book
impressive,
and he read
you
some
know?
study online.
We
It's
should.
just- it's not research.
That's a very good fucking point. I'm gonna remember that. I like that one.
Here's a big one.
Trump is a business owner.
Oh dear God, Silver.
Oh no, I'm just using an example. Trump's a business owner. Did he increase the debt his first term in office by $2 trillion?
Yep.
Okay, he did.
Silver.
So would you call that a
And-
success?
That happened.
Would you call that a success?
term.
Would you call that a success?
Silver, I would call what you do, making a point, very unsuccessful.
I said
I would
Here's-
call what Trump
here's-
did. I would. Hey,
You
shut
didn't-
up.
Wait. What
You never
also
answered
what
the
also
question.
happened? Trippy, just for a second. What also happened under Trump's first term? You got a new Fed chairman, right?
That he appointed. What are you
Hang
talking
on. There was a
Exactly.
massive deficit under
what-
Trump's first term, but most of that came from COVID. All right, there
What-
was a
what is that-
deficit, but a lot of it came from COVID and stimulus.
Hang on a second. Hang on. Whoa,
about?
whoa.
He increased the debt. He increased the debt by $2 trillion at his 2017 Trump's tax cuts plan.
What did Jerome Powell do? What did Jerome Powell do in 2016, 2017?
Why are we talking about Jerome Powell first and foremost?
Oh, because you don't understand how monetary policy works in the U.S. What are you
Because I-
dumb?
Of course I
I'm
know.
gonna-
Yeah, of course I
I'm gonna
understand
explain
monetary
to you
policy.
the
Just
game
say
plan.
what you
I'm
need
gonna-
to say.
I'm
Just
gonna-
say what you need to say. Stop with the 20 questions. Just say it. What do you need to say?
Okay, do you understand the difference between LIBOR and
Just say what you
SOFR?
gotta say. Just say what you gotta say. Just say it.
I'm asking you a question, asshole.
No,
Do you
no,
understand
I
the difference between LIBOR and SOFR?
Assume I don't know and just say it. Just assume I don't know and just say it.
Okay, so the difference between LIBOR and SOFR is okay. Hands up on the panel. Who believes that the American empire, the global American empire, is run by America? Hands up. Nobody? Okay, so here's the thing: the global American empire is not run by America because America didn't have control of its financial system until March of this year. That's the difference between LIBOR and SOFR.
I asked you about
LIBOR.
I mean,
deficit. I asked you about Donald Trump and his deficit.
No,
I could fight this, but there's no way in fucking hell I'm fighting this. There's no way in hell. All right, we'll just watch.
Shut up and listen. Shut up and listen. You want to listen?
I asked Lumberjack and Landlord directly. I asked him.
Silver,
did Trump
I'm not a fucking economist. I'm just a landlord that
Silver.
dominates your dumb ass.
Hey, I asked you
You
a question.
fucking
You
dope.
never answered. Why
Silver,
Silver, I can explain this.
Silver,
I
I
can
can
explain
explain
this.
You suck at what you do. I'm awesome, and that's why people pay for my fucking opinion, you shithead.
Did he
Silver, I
increase
can
the
explain
deficit
this.
by $2 trillion before COVID? And would you consider it a
Dude, wrap yourself into human origami, worrying about things
Oh
that
my
have no
God.
fucking factor
You can't answer
on
the
finding the
question.
right deal and helping people with
can't answer
housing.
the question.
That's why people like
That's
you
not what-
fail. That's why people like me win. Because I look at the problem and I
Would help-
diagnose
would-
and then I prescribe and then I get the
Would-
job done. Instead,
would-
you are a
If they
constant
cut-
serial losing masturbator
Oh my
who
God.
gets
Oh my
nothing
God.
done. And
Oh
you're
my
just sitting there
God.
like, look
You
at me,
go to ad
I'm like,
hominem.
two
You
units.
go to
Dude,
ad
you
hominems
suck.
because you're a child, bro.
You
You
suck.
go to ad hominems because you're a child, bro.
Yeah, I'm a
Well,
child.
can we make this-
exactly.
Can,
Totally
can,
right.
can, can we
the
make
point
this
of being
really
child.
simple? Did
Yeah.
Joe Biden increase the national debt?
I'm not a fan of Joe Biden, first off. And yes, he did.
But
I'm not a
did
fan.
he? Yes, he
Yes.
did. And
Oh,
did,
yeah.
and did Barack Obama? Did Barack Obama?
Dun dun dun.
Yes, he did.
Keep in mind-
So your
keep in mind,
argument
his-
is that Donald
his
Trump
circumstances
raised
were very
the debt.
Circumstances were
So
very
what
different.
is your actual argument?
You got to understand, Barack Obama's circumstances were very different.
No, that's true. The circumstances were very different. Trump passed a $5 trillion COVID stimulus relief bill because he was in the ass middle of COVID. Yeah, that very true. Very different circumstances. $5 trillion stimulus package. Biggest stimulus package in American history.
You're not using. He was handed a great.
Hey, Silver, there's a reason why you chase me when I go speak somewhere, and there's a reason why I never even heard of you.
Okay, how about this? I have a question for all you guys. Would you say you're biased against the left?
I'm saying
I'm
biased
on the
against
left.
stupidity, which you are the poster child.
No, wait, no.
Oh no, my friend. Can I answer your question? Can I answer your question?
Look at the facts. He was handed. Barack Obama was handed a recession.
So you asked a question, but you don't want to answer. You asked a question so you can gish gallop. Go ahead, gish gallop.
Just tell me if this isn't a fact. Just tell me if this isn't a fact. Barack Obama was handed a recession within months of him taking office, and of course they deficit spend. I'm not in favor of deficit spending, but they did deficit.
What are you in favor of?
Well, hold on.
Bitching?
What are you for? What are you against? What is your position?
Bitching and moaning?
Quicksand. Like you're not for, not against anything.
He likes like smuggled underwear.
Sorry, sir. I'm 6 beers in and about 2 bottles of wine in, so this might get spicy. I apologize.
Okay.
We like the spicy.
Where's the wealth, Jason?
Next came in Trump, who was handed a good economy.
Oh, you're mine now. You're mine now, motherfucker. Go ahead. No, please. Go
Dun
ahead.
dun dun.
Gish.
It is time for bloodbath.
Barack Obama was handed a recession months into his
was he?
Right into his presidency.
What was the recession? What was no? Hang on. Wait. Let's back up.
Look. Anytime you're watching a debate like this, it's highly recommended to have blood pressure meds like nearby at all times. Okay, highly recommended.
No, hold on.
No, don't dodge it. I'm asking you a qualifying question. What happened in 2007 that led to the thing that
Silver's a fucking retard, okay? Silver is one of the reasons why I'm ashamed to be on the left, alright? This is why I feel so schizo when I'm arguing, and I design my arguments in such schizo fucking ways. It's because I watch the failure of guys like Silver, and I want to avoid that, alright? Because he's about to crash and fucking burn. And all of us on the left, we think we're different than Silver, but we're really fucking not. We're all the same, and we need to stop it. We need to fucking stop it and move on. It's so bad. Watch him crash and fucking burn, okay? He is flying a plane. He's gonna completely miss the runway and land in a fucking mountain. A mountain range. He's about to die a horrible, tragic death. And we're just gonna watch it.
What is the definition of recession? What is the definition of recession?
This time, it's 2/4 of GDP.
Look, if the audio shit, don't tell me. I keep on seeing like peak. Okay, I keep seeing a peak. Let me see if I can fix the peak.
We're done with it. He was handed a recession. Was he? Yes or no? Say yes.
No, he wasn't. He was handed a bond market collapse. He was handed a bond market collapse, and there was a recession.
All right, there we go. I think a little bit of peak.
Here's a question you have.
There we go. There we go. I think I fixed the peak.
What also happened in international markets?
Okay, my guy.
What happened? What happened in Iceland? What happened in England? What happened in England in 2008?
The answer is yes. Bottom line.
Oh God! Now it's time to fuck another lefty. This is the second time these two have teamed up to raw fuck a lefty. All right, this is the second time tonight.
What happened during 2008?
Oh God!
What did Barack Obama do in 2008? What did Barack Obama do in 2008?
You're deflecting. You're deflecting.
No, I'm asking you a direct question.
They're about to use a silver fleshlight, and it's not going to be fun.
He lowered interest rates to 0, right? He lowered interest
Turn up
rates to
stream
0.
volume.
And what else did he do? What else did American banks do in 2008? They funneled over $5 trillion that we know of, that we can confirm, to offshore dollar accounts.
So
to what? To do what? Who cares? Why is America funneling $5 trillion that we know of, with probably in a 10 times amount, to offshore dollar accounts?
You're deflecting from my points. Let me continue with my.
I'm addressing your point directly.
Oh my God! No, you're not. Let
yes,
me
I
move on
am.
to my. Okay, so first off, he was handed a recession. Even ChatGPT says, right off the bat, it says yes. Okay.
Oh,
And-
good.
Oh,
ChatGPT
ChatGPT.
gets.
Okay, good.
Oh
good,
my
okay,
God.
great. The
Are we
economy
talking about
recovered.
Barack Obama being handed the 2008 recession?
The economy recovered. Can I just get to my point?
Yeah.
You guys can
Okay.
talk in a minute. You guys can talk in a minute. The economy recovered. He handed that economy to Donald Trump.
I'm timing
Donald
it.
Trump
I
decided to, with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act 2017, he decided to cut taxes for the rich. That's fine. Okay, fine. But it did increase the deficit by $1.9 trillion. This was 3 years prior to COVID. Okay. And guess
So
what?
did
Of
he?
course, COVID
Did,
happened.
did,
We
did
did-
interest rates go down or up during Obama?
Bro,
Did interest rates go down or up?
Bro,
They went down to what?
Okay. Oh my god! Oh my god, bro!
Hey,
Like,
Trey,
those
look,
ratings
What
are
did-
shut
what
up,
did-
dude.
what did interest rates go down to?
Honestly,
What did interest rates go down to? I'm asking you a question. It's just a
down.
question.
Bro,
I'm a ninth grade
To-
dropout,
to-
and I'm embarrassed for you.
0%. Who cares?
To what did interest rates go down to?
Gentlemen.
Did they go to-
Oh, thank you, Thank you,
Sarcastic
Sir.
Saint comes
Everyone
in
questions,
with a
bro.
big 5 and says, listening to Silver speak is making everyone an alcoholic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we stop
More like-
torture before
This
all
panel
of our
does not like
brains
True.
rot from
This panel
this
doesn't like
Ryan/Kermit clone. Bye.
panel
But
does not like-
Sarcastic also doubled down and said, Lumberjack, Nova has the chest too. Sorry, Mill. I know you are married, but come on. Silver, enjoy 5 in the back. You Ryan clone. Bye, Kermit. All right, you got 10 total backstage, Silver.
It's
Wow.
locked back there. I know.
Actually,
I'm
Ryan.
confused at the
better
Nova chess
argument
comment.
than Silver does.
But
Um,
Jason, how do you think the Federal Reserve kind of plays into what's happening, and how quickly do you think we're going to see a financial collapse? From
Well, so this okay. So a lot of my analysis is building off of Tom Luongo's points, and I guess I had on who's called Stormy Waters. So if anyone who's interested in this is some shameless shilling, but if you go on my channel Mir and Chuck now, you can also go on Gumroad and buy the package Tales of the Shadow Empire to understand what's going on from based on that thesis, and that thesis is building is proving itself as we go. But the general idea is this: is that the Federal Reserve, as it is right now under Jerome Powell, is not your enemy. He's your friend. Now that doesn't mean that they care about you and me. They're just aligned against the same problem that we're all facing, which is the City of London. So under LIBOR, which is the London Interbank rates, right? So American currency up until March of 2025 was controlled out of a cadre of central banks set up in the City of London. So those guys got to determine what the interchange rates of the American dollar was globally, and they would meet every Monday. This is a massive simplification, so please don't at me. But they would basically get together and go, "What's your rate? What do you want? 5%, 6%? What it is?" We decide on a term, and that was your exchange rate for your American currency. It was being valued or devalued by this group of bankers over in London. Okay. Who, by the way, stretches back thousands of years, was created by the Romans, very sketchy shit. We won't even get to that on the stream. But so there's a new system called SOFR.
I
which
hate
is
to say
being
it like
introduced.
this, but
It had been-
are they
it had
really
been
that
tried to be
big?
introduced for a few years before that, but because of LIBOR,
Those are some fucking
difficulties and
those are
and
some
panic
things.
attacks around
Okay, that's all
LIBOR
I got to
and-
say. I'm gonna leave it.
corruption on LIBOR.
I'm gonna leave it
They
low
moved over to
key.
SOFR, which is an overnight securities act, which basically says that American currency rates are going to be directly tied to actual rates determined by the American Fed. That's the first time America has been in control of its own currency in over 300. How old is America? 300 years. 300 years.
Almost.
So you have to answer yourself this question: if America is a global empire, and America is a global empire, why is its currency, the lifeblood of the empire, being handled by an outside third-party source? Doesn't make sense,
banking
right?
plans.
Does not make
Banking
sense.
plans.
Which is why your housing prices and all the rest of it, everything tied to your currency, was being controlled by London. Okay,
Well, you know,
so
good
the
old
Tea
Muslim-
Party didn't end it. By the way,
No.
you're still being controlled by a
and
mercantile
good old
system.
And good old
Which,
Mother
sorry, let me just finish this. So in my thesis, which I call the liberal frame, everything residing in the liberal frame, which is your classic liberalism, to your communism, to your fascism, to all your feminisms, all these things are held within this liberal frame. This is building from Father Seraphim Rose and from Dugan. Okay, So when you consider that everything's inside that liberal frame was manufactured and created by mercantilists, and those mercantilists were prime and center of the British Empire. So in the classic example, I can get the whiteboard out again. You used to have the king, then the lords, then the merchants. They inverted it. So now the merchants control the king. That's a problem because we are hierarchical beings. Jordan Peterson, we're all about hierarchies. Yeah, flip it. We're in a process of reflipping the board, and that's the liberal frame being destroyed right now. That's why they're all freaking out, because their whole system is about to collapse and be reinstated with a new king at the top of the hierarchy. It's a build a Caesar moment, and it's not going to be Trump, but Trump is the forerunner of it. And we're going to get downstream from Trump, we're going to get an actual Caesar, a Caesar of the West, who will reinstate a hierarchy, because it has to happen, or else we're all going to die, because the economy is going to self-implode.
So is this decoupling something that could be undone with?
You know what? It's funny you say that, because my two options tonight was get on this panel or talk to my wife. So it seemed like we both made the right decision today. So I'm glad you were enjoying the stream, man. I'm glad you're enjoying the panel. Like that. That makes me happy to read. I appreciate you, man.
From London controlling it to now we have control of it.
Officially, the reason is that they finally caught LIBOR under scrutiny for being corrupt, right? They've if you go back in the history of it, like they finally said, look, LIBOR is highly corrupt. We got to change the system. And this happened about 5 years ago under Trump. So a lot of people are bemoaning Jerome Powell being part of the Fed. Trump put him in there, and I think part of Trump's kayfabe is acting against Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell here's the interesting thing we've been targeting on my show and many others, is that if you look at Jerome Powell, Scott Bessent, this is something that I've said as a Canadian about Americans. If you scratch an American, even the most liberal anti-American in the world, you get to a true blood patriot. I saw this happening in 2001. I was living in Paris. The towers are going down. I went to a bar to watch it live on CNN in this American pub. I'm sitting around this table of these American expats who literally the day before were all about anti-America, and the towers are going down. And I happen to mention something offhand, like, this seems weird. Like, this seems a little bit contrived. I don't really buy this that they've found the culprits this fast. Right, yeah. I think it was around
See,
that
that's
time,
the goal,
we were on a
though.
time delay,
I'll
right? So
be
it was
doing that later
passports are
today.
happening,
Like, after I
this
end
feels
stream,
weird.
gonna
And
lay
everyone
down,
at that
probably
table,
cut on some
right?
bleach,
These are all Americans who are
get
all
laid,
expats who are all
and then
like
pass out.
anti-America the day
That's the
before,
plan for
turn to
today.
me and go,
And tomorrow,
"How dare you
about the same thing.
assume that America
But instead, Bleach is
would
probably
do such a
Spawn,
thing?"
all right?
Like,
Because we have to switch it up. We can't just watch Bleach every night.
scratch an American, you find
But
a
you know
patriot.
what? That's how it is.
So you now have patriots who have been activated, like Jamie Dimon, Jerome Powell, and a few others and Scott Bessent, who have lineage all the way back to the Mayflower, who've said, no, we're not doing this. Right? The big one is Jamie Dimon, who basically said, I'm not going to allow.
We could be if you want. We definitely could be.
System to come in and get rid of the interbank system, because that takes out his entire fiefdom. You have to imagine that Jerome Powell built a kingdom, right? All his money has been directed back into Goldman. Sorry, it's not Goldman Sachs. It's someone correct me.
Chase.
Chase, thank you. Right? He put all his money. Chase is his legacy, and that was going to be on the chopping block with the UBI and the CBDC. And he basically said, no, we're not doing that. Carbon credits, all that stuff. That was going to be the new. That was going to be that. And I can substantiate those claims because I've read Klaus Schwab. I read what they said.
Oh no!
This is what directly out of Klaus Schwab's. All their directives was this. This is why the big head off between Carney and Trump is happening, because Carney is the old system, the old plan, versus Trump, the new plan, and that's the war right now.
Okay, so the basic argument is the Federal Reserve is still an inherently American institution, which is going to be better than,
as long as it's being head by someone who's inherently American. Because before that, yeah.
I'm sure you would be great to answer this question. It's very confusing for me, and I think a lot of other people. Where does that money actually go? So whenever the United States government pays I think it's over $1 trillion, right? It's in interest to the Fed. Where does that money go? Who does it go to?
What is the Fed?
The Federal Reserve.
What is it?
Look, okay, I'm not gonna lie. That's why, like, streaming right now, I'm realizing I need to be on Sarah's panels more. Okay, Trump administration is gonna buy me a fucking house. That's what I need to do. All right, that's what we need to fucking do. We need to get on this. All these lefties are retards. I'm not retarded, alright? Despite what people say, I'm not this fucking retarded. Put me and Coder in a room, I'm less retarded, alright? And that's what we're gonna do. Trump's gonna buy me a fucking house.
No, but
we're gonna do it.
They all talk to the Federal
Thank you,
Reserve.
Donald Trump.
They follow what the Federal Reserve tells them.
So there's a hierarchy.
Each one has its own governor, and that's who actually makes up the board.
No,
they do.
They do.
Agencies do not follow a governor.
Okay, why do you have? Why do you? Okay, here's a question. Why do you have a New York Federal Reserve and a San Francisco Federal Reserve?
You don't have a Federal Reserve.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
No, you do.
They're part.
You know why? You know why you have those two things? Because before there was technology, before there was instant technology of communication, you had to maintain
the Federal Reserve. They're not an independent reserve.
It's the same thing. It's about rate setting.
No,
they set rates.
Follow what the actual Federal Reserve.
No, that's not true. They actually all vote on it.
Federal Reserve tells the.
No, they don't. There's a vote.
Or the New York.
There's a vote.
Correct. There is a vote. Yes, there's a vote.
All of the Fed chairs.
There we go. Yeah, it's someone that actually knows what the fuck they're talking about. I'm so happy.
And all of them then vote on, and then that's why some people say I dissent or I voted for a
branch.
Which if you look into SOFR,
voting power matters.
If you look into SOFR, SOFR is giving power back. SOFR gives power back to the American Fed and all its different branches, because now they're going to agree on a rate that agrees upon the rate across all branches and not determined by the City of London. Here's the thing, and I know it's difficult, dude. I started investigating this about a year ago, and it was a mind fuck for me. Okay, the idea that your currency, the most powerful reserve currency in the world in history, was not controlled by your country, by your Fed, right? The thing that you boogeyman about, right? I'm not saying you. I'm saying the same people boogeyman about was not controlled up until March of this year. March of this year.
We got to vape.
Yeah,
all right, we
intuitively,
vaping.
That makes a lot of sense because it's always seemed like, man, the Fed really doesn't seem like it has the best interest of America at heart. But if it's controlled by a bunch of British people who are angry we aren't a colony anymore, yeah, that makes perfect fucking sense.
They're not angry that you're not a colony anymore. You're still a colony.
God damn it.
You're
the vape is dead. Guys, it's fucking over. The vape is dead.
Over library,
God damn it.
4 or 5 years ago.
Well, it changed. No, but it changed over. So they made the changeover, and it didn't become so. The complete changeover from LIBOR to SOFR didn't happen until March of this year. The last bit of LIBOR didn't expire until March of 2025. March 31st, by the way, which is around the same time that Trump did all his tariff talks. You look at the timing. Trump did his tariff talks around overlapping the end of LIBOR into SOFR. Which is basically putting a big giant straw into everyone's milkshake and sucking back USD back into America.
You just sent me on like a 3-day journey of research after this. Like, I thought I knew this a little bit, but
Rob Nor
drink my
came in with
milkshake.
a big 20. He says, "I'm still streaming, so I'm not watching, but whatever the topic is, vibe is wrong."
That's rough.
Rob
Vibe
Nor.
wrong.
Rob Nor is.
Come in here.
I like him, but he's a bit of a dollar store Don the Pleb.
Oh,
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, Rob.
I want to see you and Rob have a conversation. That's what I want to see at this point.
Let's do it, Rob. Let's make it happen.
Rob Nor. Wait, what did you say about him?
I'm as a joke. It's a joke,
Oh.
right? I'm friends with Don the Pleb. I'm saying that Rob Nor is a dollar store version of Don the Pleb. It's a joke. Everyone, calm down. Okay.
All riled up over here, Jason.
Hey, I'm gonna have to screenshot that Rob Nor comment though, because at least he's recognizing me.
There you
Here,
go.
You could screenshot it with your face on there.
Dude, you need to get some silver spray paint. Witness me.
Because I'm a nobody. Why does he care about me?
You're talking truth.
I just want to leave it on the screen for a minute, so that if Rob happens to be watching the screen, he can see. You know, maybe you should make it look
Why
like
is
it's
it
frying
frozen?
or something.
It's fucking. It's dead.
Did he freeze?
Why is it dead?
frozen
I think
now.
he did.
Yeah, it's kind of
Am I
dead.
frozen?
My God, that's hilarious. He actually froze on screen.
There you go.
Rob froze him.
So back to the question really quick. So I agree with the premise. Having more control of America's financial systems in America is obviously better. But do we actually know where the money that we give to the Fed, or if it has different,
You don't give money to the Fed. You don't give money to the Fed.
The United States government does, right? They pay
No, it
that
doesn't.
No.
massive. So how does
That's
that
not
work?
how that works.
That is incredibly interesting. Please enlighten me.
Okay. Do you understand what the treasury what treasuries are?
Treasuries, yeah.
Okay, what are they?
You're talking about like literal treasuries, like the
Yeah,
Iowa
bonds.
gold.
Yeah, bonds.
Sure.
What are they?
Bonds, so a bond is you can
Don't look for definition. What is a bond? What is a treasury? What is a treasury bond? What does it mean?
It's an asset. It's
an asset. Okay, is the asset
For what
tied to a
purpose?
value?
Yes.
It's an investment by many people.
Okay, it's what it really is it's a guess, right? So let's say you have $100 and you're buying $100 in bonds, and the bond yield rate for a 10-year bond when you buy it is 2%. So your idea is, I'm going to put $100 in here. I'm not going to recover any money for 10 years, and when I do get the money out, it's going to be 2% higher from what I invested, right? So it's an investment scheme. It's a bet on the bond, right? Because the bet is that the money you're investing in will always go up. That 2% is enshrined. It's going to happen, right? That's a wild bet. The only reason you can make that bet in USD is because USD has always gone up post 1945. It's always gone up. It's a world reserve currency.
Actually, I would disagree with you. When we were on the gold standard, we were the strongest economy.
Sure.
And now that we're on the oil standard, if
you're not on the oil standard,
there are many different countries that can actually make our dollar value go up and down.
The petrodollar is a lie. You're not actually on the gold standard. You're on the bond standard.
Petrodollar, dude.
No, you're not. You're not because petrol. You're on the acid dollar. Okay, so petrol, gas, oil, gas. Hang on, oil, gas, real estate markets. This is something Lumberjack can confirm. All these things all tie into the bond market. You're on the bond market standard. Right?
Okay.
You're on a standard that says that the money that you have today, right, is going to be worth, let's say in 30 years, if you do a 30-year bond yield, is going to be worth a certain amount of money.
Our dollar, the value of our dollar is based on
doesn't mean anything because of these.
Based on the petrodollar, and
No.
then
Nope.
it trickles down from that.
This is what your dollar is based on.
The U.S. dollar is just how they trade petrol. It's not a petrodollar, if that makes sense.
So the moment that the U.S. dollar, Daniel, do you agree that
Based off our dollar?
Okay, do you agree that the America is a world reserve currency?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Every other country's equivalent.
Every other country's dollar, every other person dollar is based on the American dollar.
The silence was embarrassing. Okay, it wasn't even deafening. The silence was embarrassing.
And again, I know people get pissed off with these leading questions. I do them because I'm trying, because it's my thought process too. Trust me, it hit me hard too. If there's more of something in the world, if more of something in the world, does the value increase or decrease?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
If there's more of something, right?
It
does
looked
the
like
value of that
Lumberjack was just
thing
humping his
increase or
chair.
Decrease.
Decrease.
Right. So if you say that there's right now, and if people can go to my channel and go, and again, I'm not trying to shut my channel. Hang on, Daniel. Let me. I'll do a really brief breakdown. Right.
Hold on. You asked me a question. Now let
Sure.
me
Yeah.
follow up.
Please. Absolutely.
Okay. So if there's more of something, the value decreases.
Mm-hmm.
Who created
Silver
the
is
oil
back.
industry?
It's return to retard hour. We're gonna have some
Okay,
fun.
It's a wrong question.
answer
No,
my
hang on.
question.
Let me.
Answer
No,
my question.
I'll answer your question, but
Don't-
also tell you
don't-
it's a
don't
wrong
go off
question.
on Something else.
The
Answer my question.
The city of London. The city of London created. The city of London created the oil industry. I'll answer your question. The city of London created the oil industry. Okay.
No, they did not.
Yes, it did. But
No, they
here's
did not.
yes, it did.
No other country understood how to pull oil from the ground until
What existed before petrol?
Standard Oil.
What existed before petrol?
Gold.
No.
No, lamp.
Whale oil.
Oh, yeah. For lighting lamps.
Who controlled the whale?
Kerosene.
No, actually, that was
controlled the whale?
that was
controlled the
utilized
kerosene
way
industry?
before the gold standard.
Right, but who controlled the kerosene industry?
The kerosene.
That's
Yeah.
what they're talking about. That's the
Kerosene
oil,
was
kerosene.
fucking whale.
Bro, where is this conversation going?
Well, hang on.
Who
I'll get
cares,
to it.
Silver? You have nothing to add.
Kerosene is a
Oh,
byproduct.
I would love
True.
to add something, but it's like, what are we doing? A history
Kerosene
lesson?
comes from
No, you
kerosene
go-
comes
go
from
through- go through
whales.
that
Just
first.
listen,
go
all
through
right?
that
Just
first.
have fun and listen. Don't
Sedimentary rock.
don't shit on fun.
Who
Sedimentary rock,
control-
okay?
Who controlled?
The byproduct of
Okay,
refining oil.
Do you
Rubber.
okay?
Like
Hang on,
that.
wait. Do you
Just
guys
like-
realize? Do you recognize that there was this entity called the Dutch India Corporation, right?
Yeah, I
Existed-
understand that.
We can all agree on that, right? Hang on. Eagle,
Look, I
know
couldn't
this
answer
is
his
gonna get-
question
this
if
is
I
gonna get weird.
tried. I'm not even sure what the fuck he's talking about. I'm just listening and hoping I figure out at some point.
Back to
Okay.
Mesopotamia, while we're at it.
Sure, we can go back to Mesopotamia. I can go 1,000 years back and go back to the Roman Empire, actually, if you want to.
Oh my
But-
god! Like,
But
for real.
let's just start with
I'm talking about in the 1800s.
Right.
Who created the oil industry?
the city of London.
It wasn't Europe. It wasn't
Yes, it was.
Middle East. It was the United States. That was a very big really
Who controls oil prices? Who
from-
controls oil prices?
from fluids out of a whale.
I'm gonna fact check before I say something. There's John D. Rockefeller that
an
maintained
energy product from the
maintained
ground.
control of oil in
Okay,
America.
who controls energy prices? Who
John
sets
D.
energy
Rockefeller.
prices?
OPEC.
It's like 80
Okay.
million questions, just 20 million
Yeah.
questions, bro. Just say what you got
No,
to say.
I'm getting to it, man.
You know what?
You wanna
Silver-
shut-
Listen to the guy. Like, you're literally
Silver,
listening to the guy.
cause-
Every time
it's
you-
called-
you
It's
literally-
called creating a basis
or,
and understand what the other person knows
Yep.
and doesn't know.
every time
Yep,
you say
John D.
something, it's like,
Rockefeller.
Easiest way of having
All
a
right.
conversation with
All right, we're good. We know this.
We know you
Sweet
do not understand.
Dynamo
Very
sends
interesting,
the
though.
big five and asks, should foreign entities be owning U.S. housing?
No.
Yes,
Well,
Absolutely not.
regulation with regulations.
who can?
I
here's the
don't
thing is,
support
who-
any form of
Oh my God.
regulation
Oh,
on the
another
free
question.
market like that. Me as the libtard, I don't support any like restrictions on the free market whatsoever. Why should it matter? I,
bro,
as an
bro,
American, would think it would be stupid if France tried to tell me I can't buy land in France. All right, I should be able to buy land wherever I want, do whatever the fuck I want with my money if I have money.
Every road in America should be privately owned.
What?
The issue over U.S. housing is a falsity in the scarcity market. There is no scarcity, right? What the other guy was on.
Your argument
he's
is
saying
on
that
speculation.
I mean, there's
So-
manufactured scarcity, certainly. Like,
Yeah,
the fact
yeah,
that all
definitely
these
manufactured.
buying up huge-
there's tons of land you can build in, right? So if you
get the
add on
permits.
if you add on artificial scarcity, then your answer has to change. So, I mean, should foreign
Shit.
foreign entities be able to buy up U.S. land while there's enforced scarcity? No. But if you open up the scarcity market to saying there's no scarcity and you could build land wherever.
I guess we're
sure,
out.
maybe. I
I've been kicked off.
I'm open to this, I'm open to this discussion.
How much? How much was that for?
Yeah, it said housing.
Yeah, land. No, I get it. What I'm saying is I'm a bit Switzerland on the situation because it depends on how you're regulating it, right? Like,
so you think China should be able to buy American land? And
how much was that for?
I didn't say that.
Chinese land?
I didn't say that. I'm simply saying that I'm neutral on this.
In China?
I mean,
you want me to answer one question, or you want me to answer five?
Nobody can buy land in China.
Nah, I just got kicked out. That was it.
Yeah, you can't buy land in China.
It's a very interesting question because I know myself. I own land in
Oh well.
Asia, right?
Fuck it. I was kicked, guys. That's it.
But Daniel, I mean, to the same.
Said I didn't talk that much, which I can understand, but like, what the fuck was I supposed to do?
I have a couple properties that my wife and I go and spend the summers at, right?
It didn't say a time. That was the confusing thing. Like, it doesn't have a dono.
I own the land.
Like, it just says this. It doesn't have a dono.
Come in and just take your land.
Hang on, I'll give you a brief one. A lot of Australians own land in Indonesia.
Let's see. Let me see if I can find it
land in Indonesia and develop it
in the chat.
No, hang on. Time out. Right. So they buy land in Indonesia and develop it and make it worth more. So should they be prohibited from buying?
Yeah.
land
Okay.
in
It was
Indonesia
5.
and developing
It was 5. Hornet. Okay.
Somebody from
All right.
a
I'll talk.
country should not be able to
However,
buy
it's fucking
land
midnight, bro.
in
Like,
country
I gotta go
unless
to
that country
bed
agrees.
soon. All right. I'll go to bed soon. I'll come back.
They agree.
We'll throw some punches and then we're going to fucking bed. Okay.
My transaction.
I mean,
We're
this also
going to.
kind of goes to what Jason was saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
That. Okay. We'll come back. We'll throw some fucking punches. All right. That's what
you
we'll
don't
do.
want China buying up all of our land, right here.
Am I right?
But let's look at this, right? I mean, we have to have some type of
Can I buy
cross,
land
like
in China?
No one can buy land in China.
Right.
Chinese people
Here-
cannot
here's-
buy
here's-
land in
here's-
China.
communist
Why
country.
is there land being sold in the U.S. sold to China?
Daniel,
Why?
here's a problem.
Literally in that microcosm, because our politicians make money off of it, and the Chinese make money
Exactly.
off of it.
just briefly, I'll introduce this concept, and this is I'll let you guys. I'll introduce the concept and I'll step back. America's number one export is the markets themselves, the concept of market. America has the deepest markets in the world. Why?
I can't buy land in Canada.
Daniel, stop, man. Let me just finish this. Okay? Yes, you
I'm
can.
American. I can't buy land in fucking.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can buy land wherever you want. Daniel, the question is this: it's about depths of market, what the value of a market is. So.
Yeah, I know.
the
Yeah, I
problem
read
is
the
that
comment saying
you'll see this
that I got
happen
kicked
quite
off because I
often,
wasn't
is
talking that much.
Every so often, someone will glom onto Bollywood and go,
Okay, yeah, I just talked in the side
Bollywood
chat. I'm off
movies.
2 more minutes.
Therefore, Bollywood must have value. We'll export that to the West, and it never takes on. Why? Because Bollywood doesn't have any depth. It only sells to an Indian audience. You take the corollary, which is like Hollywood. Hollywood sells to everybody. Marvel sells to everyone. That's depth. So market depth is market value. I'll get to land. So when you're talking about land, it's the actual value. What can you produce? There's a difference in buying land in
Look,
the
you can
Canadian
say like just
Arctic
explain
and buying
shit,
land
you
in
know,
Virginia. Do you
hop in
agree?
there and just talk about stuff. You can say that, right? You can say that. However, it's like,
is there a difference in value?
I
to
don't
what you
know,
can
bro.
do
Like, there's not
with
much to
land in
say.
prime real estate in Virginia.
Like at the end of the
versus
day,
land
this is a
in the
conservative
Arctic
space where they
Canada.
agree with like public housing, so I don't want to poke
Right?
the bear
It's
like too
land.
much.
So is there a
right?
difference in value?
Like ultimately, they agree with me, so it's like there's nothing much
Can
I'm
you
going to
do
fight with
more?
them.
Can you do
I'm
more
honestly
in
going to be more
Virginia than you can
aggro with
do
the
in the
lefties
Arctic
that try to
Canada?
come at them
Can
because
you
it's
or
like
can't you?
this is a conservative
Simple
that likes
answer, yes or
public
no?
housing. This is an endangered species. Don't touch it. All right, that's how I feel. Don't touch it.
Because it's about depth of value. What can you do with one piece of land versus another piece of land? If all land is equal, which is a false equivalency, we're talking about depth of land value. What is the value of land? So I'll give you an example. I'm Ukrainian. I've been following the Ukrainian situation. The entire movement has been moved towards defarming. Hang on, defarming Europe and refarming it in Ukraine. Why? Because Ukraine has more fertile fields in Ukraine than it does in Europe. It has more depth of value in Ukraine, fertile fields, ability to produce more crops in Ukraine. Than it does in Holland. That's why they moved it. It's a number value. Okay. So the question is land the same value across the board? If it isn't, you have to consider what is value. What is the number of value? If let's say real estate in Florida is more, or Miami is more prosperous than value in Nantucket, then there's a disparity of value.
Oh my
In
God,
another
like,
country.
I would love to hear from other people. Go ahead. Please, somebody else.
Hey, I personally love hearing from Jason. It is rare
my
to
God.
have someone who
It's
can
just
just
a rabbit hole, a never-ending
he just
rabbit hole.
fires it off all this great
We'll be
information.
talking about freaking ancient,
yes,
I
happily.
don't know, Egypt.
Happily. Yep. I would love
go.
that. We can talk Egypt,
But at a
Rome,
level of
feudal
understanding that
Japan,
it's
feudal
worth listening
China.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I thought this was a discussion about something related to real estate.
Hey, why did Rome set up the city of London 1,000 years ago?
Oh my God! Another question. This guy.
No question.
You
You know everything. So tell me. Answer the
This
question.
guy's Jeopardy. Like, are you a
No,
host?
Silver
Do you
doesn't know
host like
anything.
Jeopardy or something like that?
Yeah, I'm Mr. Direct. I have a better mustache.
Really?
Most Canadian.
I think
Bob,
ultimately what Daniel was talking.
Well,
Hi,
back
where do
to
you want
the,
land in
my question.
overseas?
My question is this: if
Philippines.
if
Oh, is that a
the
question?
federal-
Are you asking a
the
question?
question
How
is-
dare you
yeah,
ask
my
a question?
Well, let him ask the question. Let's see. Come on, let's see what he can cook with.
Yeah. Will there be more or less homelessness if Trump and his administration put the Section 8 program and send it back to the states? Yes, sir. Just a general. What do you guys
No.
think?
As it's been established,
Okay, that's
as it's been established already, the list is longer than Trump's administration. So if you applied today, you're not getting in until whoever the next president is. If JD Vance is the next president,
generally, you
you're not
always
getting in
hear-
housing until JD Vance is in office. I hate to tell you.
Okay, call it a 10-year thing. They measure it, they measure the deficit over a 10-year period. So let's
Silver,
call it
you
10
wouldn't
years.
know success if it sat on your
Oh
face
my
and
God.
fucking wiggled. The fact of the matter is that they have gone through all of the machinations of what this looks like. If you've ever been an executive before, you know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, I
But
saw
I've
your
actually
message.
run
I'm aware. All right, I need to talk
and so
more.
when
I'm
you
trying.
do
God damn it.
anything,
I'm trying.
You plan
All right.
everything out. You look at the pros
I'll
and
do
the
it.
cons. You look at the costs. You look at the
Do you
sunk
think
cost.
Trump-
You look at
and
all of these.
he's done
Shut
that.
the
You
fuck
believe
up,
he's done
Silver.
that. You believe
Shut the
he's done
fuck
that.
up.
You believe he's done that. You believe he's done that. You
Yes,
this
I
guy's a
believe he's
phony?
done that. I don't believe some
No.
inept dipshit like yourself
This guy-
paying
this
to
guy.
jump on a panel has added
That's
any
the point.
value whatsoever and knows what the fuck you're talking about. You don't
Actually,
know. You don't know. You've never run anything.
You can't.
You can
Bro,
barely
that's
run
your
your
only
car to
metric.
the gas station.
Your
Shut
only
the
metric.
fuck up.
That's your only metric in life. Your only metric in life is my car is nicer than yours.
Did you
My
just
car is
say
nicer
you
than
could
yours.
barely run a gas station?
Dude, my life compared to yours, I'm not interested in. You're a
Bro,
fucking
this is all
card.
you do.
You
You're
can't
one
make
big
a
walking
point.
measuring
I've burned you every single
You're one
time
big
we
walking
talk about
measuring
any
stick.
topic, and all you do
Hey.
is sit there and go, "Mer, mer, mer."
Hey,
You
little
don't
man,
understand.
hey,
Mer,
little
mer,
man,
mer.
hey, little man. I know you got short man
Fuck up.
syndrome, but please, bro, like leave it at home. We don't need that. Go to therapy
You
for that.
what it Silver,
Go to
dude.
therapy
You
for
are
that, okay,
such a
little man?
fucking clown. You're
Hey,
such a
I
fucking
have a
clown. I'm
simple
so
question on
sorry that
top-
you were
I have a
you
simple
were
question on
trauma
topic,
wedging
okay?
through all of
I have
high
a simple
school.
question on
That you need to
topic.
come to some
I-
platform, you need to chase me down because I don't remember who you are, and sure
I
to
asked-
try and get on the same
Well, you know
panel
who I
and be a
am. Come on, bro.
midpoint.
You know who I am. You know who I am.
Dude, I
Stop.
don't know who you. I don't know who you
Yeah,
are.
you
But even
Hey,
here,
show your
I don't
face.
give a fuck who you
Show
are.
your
It
face,
doesn't
Silver.
matter,
No, he
dude.
knows me. I don't even
Put
show
your
my
put your name and
face.
face on the line.
And there you.
Exactly. You're
remember.
hiding behind. You're hiding behind a logo. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
that's my
hiding
logo.
behind a logo. 7-year-olds
my
do
logo.
that, dude.
My logo.
Pussy say
Are you
what?
gonna be a
7-year-old
Power Ranger
saying,
later?
"Oh, I'm a
Like,
big-
what do you got?
You're a
Teenage Mutant
7-year-old.
Ninja Turtle?
Put your
Okay, so,
face
hey,
on
how
the line.
about-
Put your face on the line.
Anybody else? How about someone else? Do they think homelessness will increase or decrease from cuts?
If it's a 5-year wait list, no, it's not going to have a difference.
So
But
if
here-
you
I
have
think
a
this is the
child,
big
if
thing
you
that
have-
everybody's
silver, if you have a
missing.
child's understanding of how these things usually work,
Agreed.
then it might, in the immediate short term,
Oh my God.
increase a little. So if Donald Trump signs that fucking piece of paper, and then all of a sudden the money disappears the next fucking day, which is not how it works, then sure, short term, that might increase homelessness a little bit. I think we
Lumberjack.
can probably figure it out.
Wait. Let me talk for a second. Lumberjack can probably confirm this. Rates out of Florida. Rates out of Florida is your number one canary in the coal mine. So outside of Miami, which is a special case, rates out home rates out of Florida is your rising tide, and you're about to see a crash in the housing market, an absolute crash. So a devaluation of the housing market overnight.
I disagree with that. I don't think we're going to see a devaluation of the housing market.
No,
I
so
would
what-
like to see it. I would like to see a devaluation in the housing market, but I don't think it's going to happen. I hope you're right, bro. I'm counting on you being right, okay?
No, you actually don't hope I'm right, because if I'm right,
Hey, I got my savings, okay? Hey, I got a job. I got my savings. I'll get a house.
Your savings is going to be reduced to zero.
Supply and demand.
Nah, fuck. Nah, I can build up my. I'm young, okay? I can rebuild my 401k, right? I'll get a house when I'm young, and I can rebuild my 401k. That sounds great to me.
401k left. Sorry, Sarah. I know you want to get out of here, man. Can we all give Sarah some appreciation?
Agreed.
She does have a beautiful mind.
Hanging with the tards for fucking this
We
long.
got about 10 more. We got about 10 more minutes before their grift power hour that they purchased ends. So 10 more minutes. That should be enough time for you guys to finish your little hunky dory.
So Jason, so I agree that I think we're going to see a significant correction in the States, but real estate's hyper local. And so it's also demand based, but it also is the ability to access capital. And so certainly, so I do agree with you that what would need to happen for a collapse would be significant joblessness and a lack of access to capital. That's what would need to create a collapse.
Lumberjack, I put this in the chat. Follow me on X. Well, let's have a conversation privately or publicly, whatever
you'd like.
The big contraction is going to be in liquidity. Liquidity markets are contracting, and that's being signaled by guys like the Carlyle Group, which is why I signal that the Carlyle Group is who installed Trump, and made sure those things happen. I think that's also why the Carlyle Group is behind the scenes between the Elon Trump official feud, right? There's a lot of things going on. So if you look into private equity, there's a whole other conversation to be had about private equity, and it's why private equity is being attacked right now. But anyone who's listening to this,
always attacked.
yeah, let's talk about this privately or publicly, folks. I mean, I know people have downvoted me for talking too much. I'm Jason Marinchuk, host Marinchuk now. Go follow me on there. I've been following this for the last year and a half. I know it's a lot of information to take in.
Last year and a half, I've been following it for the last 10.
Well, good for you, man. But you've been following the wrong things because if your diagnosis isn't that we're heading towards a bond collapse.
I don't know what you're following.
We're heading towards bond collapse. Tomorrow on Friday, I'm going to be covering the Japanese bond market and telling you why that matters.
Why would
right?
the bond
I know why it
under
matters.
Almighty Trump? Why would the bond collapse under Almighty Trump, though? I thought he was supposed to make the bond market better and the stock market better.
Because there's no stopping it.
Why would people not want to invest in U.S. Treasuries under
why
Donald Trump?
Why is jumping off a building result in gravity? Why?
Is there a super chat large enough that I can do that for silver?
Why? No, I'm saying. I thought Trump was supposed to make everything better. The big beautiful bill.
I never said that. I've never said that. That's not
okay,
my claim.
Silver. Can you criticize them on good points? What the fuck would the big beautiful bill do to the bond market? Okay, please tell me what you could put in the big beautiful bill that would help the bond market.
Bro, I think you don't understand that deficit spending and printing more money is only going to devalue the currency, which other countries that buy our currency will be mad at, and they would be less inclined to invest in our bond market, which would increase interest rates.
Depend on our
come on, stop it, bro. Like,
sarcastic saint.
What do you mean, bro?
think I just answered your question.
Sarcastic Saint.
I think I just answered your question directly.
Sarc-
Something that these guys couldn't do.
Oh my God! Do you not know how to shut the fuck up? Sarcastic Saint, I apologize. I was too busy fiddling over in Rob Nora's chat trying to get his grift moving because they need to outdo us now. We topped Rob Nora this evening and they need to try to catch up to us. So I was over there trying to force the grift, the powers of the grift onto Rob's chat. But Sarcastic Saint, so I apologize, I missed this, came in with the big five, says Silver Eagle, aka Radical Kermit, these men know more about logic and facts than you do in your whole body. Avis is smarter than you. Five in the back. Okay, so Silver, you got actually Silver, because we're going to shut down in less than 5 minutes, I will allow you to provide your final thoughts to the panel.
Well, it's been great. It's my first time on. I appreciate you having me, Sarah. And I will say there are some things that definitely weren't addressed. I asked Lumberjack, basically that, I mean, what has Trump done, or what has China, what concessions has China made to Donald Trump based on his tariffs? He did not answer it factually. He didn't answer Ryan's question as well. And he went with feelings on everything. He didn't go with any data whatsoever. And then, I mean, the idea that homelessness wouldn't increase with the federal government cutting or sending all of the Section 8 back to the states, which would then have to rely on their local tax revenues to prop it up for at least the short to medium term, would increase homelessness. It's clear. But,
Sure,
you know, I know this is a big, deep MAGA audience for the most part. And, you know, but I'm just glad I was here, and great conversation. I wish it would
We played the long game,
Social Security.
but the long game wins,
All right, thank you.
and that's what you do.
That's it.
Thank you, Silver, and you're welcome to come back anytime you'd like. We do a lot of political talks here, but have a wonderful evening, Silver.
Appreciate it. Bye.
I'll fight you anytime.
If there were prison time given out for stupidity, he'd have a life sentence consecutive. Like, this is ridiculous.
Damn.
Like, that guy is
Yeah,
such a
I don't
it's
think
not
you need
even
to
funny.
be an incredibly successful, hot, short king, lumberjack landlord CEO to be able to understand like chains of logic and reasoning. Like he's
No,
just
but the
stuck
issue-
with these very simple concepts. Like he just
No,
can't.
but agreed. But the issue is when he talked about housing, and that's where he wanted to go when it comes to Section 8. He's a landlord of 4 units, and I've got 153. I have more Section 8 units than he has an entire portfolio. And so if I want, you know, great hair, I want to talk to you, Friendly. You know, if I want to know how to look cool in orange, I talk to Daniel. You know, if I want to know how to look good in a hat and white earphones every single time, I want to talk to Sarah. So we go with people that are experts in their field for a reason, because no resume has ever said you know how to Google shit. No
Oh
one's
yeah,
ever-
I fully agree that you're obviously an expert.
No, but
in
the
your
issue
field.
is that he literally, I truly don't know who he is, and he's like, I followed you here, and I followed you here, and I followed you here. Like clearly, I'm a little worried. He's probably a chubby chaser, and he's after me. You
Dude,
know?
he has like a trail cam set up outside your bedroom.
Yeah,
window.
but no
You gotta
joke.
watch
Like, he
out.
I would
definitely-
be,
he definitely
you know,
likes
I would
to
be
get
flattered,
more of the
honestly.
love document. Well, yeah, the only problem is I can do better. I got a hot wife.
But I would still be flattered, you know, you're getting the attention.
Yeah, I don't
Can I just say this, Daniel? I'm not opposed to your worldview, man. I'm just saying that I think you glommed onto one aspect of it, and trust me, like a year and a half ago, I was in the same spot, and then when I started digging into things and making shows about it, I started looking into other aspects, and it expanded. Like I think you're on the right track. It just matters. Like you got to dig further into what this is and what the entailments of this are. Entailments, like top of that.
Oh, I agree, Jason. I agree with you. I
just want to make sure. I want to make sure there's no disagree. There's no rivalry here, because I think it may come off the other way. I think you're on the right track. It's just like follow the trail, and you get into some really weird shit. And I know it's hard.
I would love to have a longer conversation with you. Maybe we can schedule that for another time.
Yep.
Lumberjack. Sorry, Jason.
No.
Were you done?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm done.
Lumberjack. I do want to pick your brain at some point. I am a homeowner. in my state. I would like to keep my home and buy another one. Maybe you could help me figure that out. My wife and I we're a small business owner. She runs that, and then I have my own job. The business pulls in about $350. I pull in about $150 in my job. How I would love to pick your brain on how we can keep our home that's under $100,000 on the mortgage, and then buy our next home.
Happy to review it with you.
Love to pick your brain on that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I do a live stream every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. You guys can always come and hang out and ask questions. You'll see what the format is there. It's literally just people asking questions in the chat, and I just answer them just because I've got 24 years experience.
You bastard.
Yeah, it's what? Sorry. Yes. I just answer questions. I know, true. I know, I'm such a fucker answering those questions. How dare you ask me a question? Wait, that's the premise of my show.
I can't
real quick.
I can't see what his name is. The one down in the bottom left on my screen. The
Avius.
Young kid. Avius?
Yeah, Avius. Yeah.
Avius?
Yeah.
Would love to have a conversation with you. Vile. I would love to go rounds with you.
Dan's just lonely. Daniel just needs to talk. That's all.
I'm not lonely. I'm married.
I'm joking.
Yeah. Real quick, whenever I look at,
Are you guys done sucking each other's dicks yet, or?
Not yet. We need about 5 more
yeah.
minutes.
Earlier.
5 more minutes.
It seems like Airbnb, even if you assume you keep it rented for like 40% of the year at average market rates, factor in all the cost, all the fees, that seems like that would be way more profitable than standard renting. So why did you choose the renting model instead of just being an Airbnb?
That's what you think.
No, it's actually a fantastic question, because I think a lot of people don't understand kind of getting into Airbnbs, that it really is a hospitality play. You really are becoming a hotelier. And
marketing.
Me, I wasn't looking for another job. I was looking for something far more passive, far more steady, far more able. I didn't want to own Sarah's amazing experience in the house that I have on the water. I don't want to own that. I want it to be, hey, do you want to use the house? And she'd be like, yeah, sure. And I'll be like, cool. But I don't want to own her experience. I don't want to be there for check-in. I don't want to tell her where the dishes are. Like, I don't want to do any of that stuff. I don't want to make sure that I'm handling their problem and I'm dropping whatever I'm doing. So we've set up basically an entire system where I just run my entire company from my phone with a couple of people. But the reason that you don't do, or the reason that very often Airbnb can be a challenge, is it's getting under more and more pressure from lawmakers. So there's a number of cities where it's been outlawed. There's a number of places that now require very expensive licenses to actually run these Airbnbs. But the main answer is just because I didn't want a service-based job. I didn't want to be in the hospitality business. So what I can do is I can find somebody that needs the place to live for the next year, and they can walk the property and they go, wow, I really love this. I'd love to stay. And then they sign a 1-year lease. And then, I kid you not, the number of occurrences from what we call a market tenant, we typically hear from them 3 times a year. That's it. And so if you multiply that times 153, we're talking about, 459 times that I'm contacted. So it averages about once a day. But if I have an infrastructure that can handle that, then that's not really a big deal. So the idea is drastic reduction in the amount of times that I'm touched. But
I want an increase on the amount of times I'm touched.
Well, trust me, that's what I'm doing.
There you go.
But that's really the key. So it really just comes down to the model. Some people are very successful with Airbnb. It's just not for me because I don't want another job. I retired.
Yeah, but it also comes down to location and
it doesn't. There's a lot of locations
what you have around you.
It really doesn't come down to location. It really comes down to demand, just like it always does.
And you're subject. And you're
that's a good way of looking at it.
You're subject to laws of the land too, right?
Lakefront property.
Down where I live, they just passed a law saying that you cannot create any new rental properties.
Yeah.
For Airbnb or all the rest of it. It's like where I live by the beach. It's a popular zone, but that's also decreasing.
Oh yeah, I did hear about those laws. That's in Australia, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I believe they also did the same thing in New Zealand too.
Yeah,
the
I wouldn't be
government-
surprised if you see that in America as well.
What? No, I think. What
I
you're
hope
gonna
not,
see-
but it'll be in California first. Don't worry.
True.
Yeah, for
what
sure.
you'll see is you'll see a shift. I think there's a major push now for ADUs, auxiliary dwelling units. There's a major push for those, and that's going to vastly increase properties that have any amount of land to put another ADU there, and that's going to vastly reduce the cost of actual housing.
Yeah,
You know, 'cause-
rezoning is gonna be a big. It's gonna be a big.
Yeah, so
term.
that's one of the biggest challenges. You know, literally, I've got 2 lots next to each other. One of them I'm allowed to build a 3-plex. The other one I could build a 20-plex if I wanted to. Like, what drunk guy put that zoning map together? You know, I'd like to.
The drunk guy who's getting paid off for the 20-plex.
Well, yeah, but that's the best part is that he wouldn't get anything. I own both of them. So
yeah, but he's he got his payout to pass a zoning
yeah,
law.
yeah, sure,
That's-
possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, you know, zoning laws are one of the biggest and most restrictive, and what we have in the States is called NIMBY, not in my backyard. So everybody wants affordable housing, but they don't want it anywhere near them.
Yay!
Same thing down here where they try passing a law. They say you can't build anything over a 2-story building except in certain zones, and they're already, and you can see where they're bending on this because they just got paid a lot of money, right? So it's like, well, how about this much? Well, okay, 3 stories. How about this much? Okay, 4 stories, but no more than 4 stories. We're telling you.
Yeah, no,
That's
see,
it.
that's the reason why
Okay.
zoning is so fucking bad. Zoning only applies to the people that can't pay to get it removed. Because
Well,
there's all
it
sorts of
applies-
projects
it
that they do
applies-
not go by zoning whatsoever, but they had to pay to get that shit built. Don't even worry about it.
Do we want to let Sarah go to bed?
Zoning applies to everybody, and no matter how much money I have.
You don't want me to answer that, honestly.
Dude.
I'll let you answer.
Let's go ahead.
Let's
and get
let's go to bed.
final thoughts out. Friendly neighbor, would you like to give your final thoughts?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me on. This is my first time appearing on anything online of any kind. I really enjoyed talking to everyone tonight except for Eagle. I liked Ryan. Like, I thought he was making some attempt to argue in good faith and not intentionally lying, which is more than you can say for a lot of the left. And I hope to be back.
Thank you, friendly neighbor. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Vibe to you.
You're on mute.
Yep.
But I know what you're saying is good. That's why I want you to unmute.
Thanks for having me on. You guys are a good crew, with some exceptions. Sarah, you can tell Rob if he wants to out-grift you next time, put me on his panel instead of yours. I'm sure that's why. I'm sure that's why he super chatted, because he was jealous. And if you guys want to follow me, just go to vibeon.com.
Thank you, Vibe. I appreciate it. Avis to you.
This was my second time being on after the first time I ended up saying the word insurrection and with Rob Knorr in the VC, and that led to me getting booted off for $50. So this went much better than my first time, you could say. But I would say listening to people like Jason and Lumberjack talk makes me question whether or not I'm a liberal, because frankly, listening to conversation with both of them go against people like Radical Coder, I'm definitely more inclined to believe people like Lumberjack than Radical Coder. So yeah, just listening to them, very good conversation. I would like to have a conversation in the future.
Perfect. Thanks, Avis. Daniel, are you still with us? You taking a
Yeah,
shit?
I am. Sorry, my camera took a shit.
Night trick.
Sarah, lovely as always. Very, very sweet, and you actually can hold a panel together, which I love. I appreciate your time. Loved having the conversations with the people on the panel, and would definitely love to do it again.
Thank you, Daniel. Jason, do you?
Nice ass, Sarah. Other than that,
Jesus.
What? No, okay,
I respect it. You know what? I respect it. There we go.
This message is sponsored in part by.
Go
You're
ahead.
welcome. See, I say these things to get results. Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames, messieurs, I'm Jason Marichik over Marichik Now. Thank you to everyone on the panel for entertaining me. Thank you again, Sarah, for letting me on the panel. I appreciate you. Follow me on Marichik Now for if you're interested in anything that I said. I've been deep diving this for the last year and a half, and I will debate anybody, even Ryan's hair, if they want to have a go. But I appreciate you, and honestly, Lumberjack, reach out to me on X, man. We'll sure talk.
We'll do.
Thank you, Jason. Lumberjack.
Am I still your
final thoughts?
It was tough. No, honestly, it was a great time with everybody. At the risk of dick sucking, I enjoyed working with all you guys tonight, just having a good conversation. Yeah, I think Sarah does a phenomenal job. I always tell her that every single time we chat. I'm just like, but yes, by the way, you do know you're like the best moderator I've ever seen. And that's legit true. Like I've been in a much mired chaos, as you can imagine. But yeah, I think, what I'm always looking for and always trying to help people with is experiential knowledge, not just Google me. So, if you want to try and learn about real
I'm not
estate,
sure
if
I
you wanna try
can
and
debate
learn
him
about
on
how to
getting a
acquire real
haircut.
estate,
That's like
manage your
a
own house better,
impossible
any of that
statement to
stuff,
fucking
that's what my
take.
channel's
All
for.
right.
And
It's so
9 p.m.
awful. I can't even
Eastern
debate the
time every
haircut. That's the
Thursday, I
problem.
just answer people's questions about
Fucking,
real estate, whether they want to buy
I'm
some
literally
or have
telling him
some
to
or
kill a
want to get some,
hedgehog. That's the issue.
whatever it is. But yeah, it's a pleasure. Awesome group, and honestly, it went a whole lot better than I thought. I'm not sure if you missed the chat where I offered you a house to shut Silver up. Look in the chat. I offered you a fucking house because my phone died. My
Is that
fucking
what
phone
you
died.
said?
My phone
Sarah.
died, and I couldn't super chat.
Oh, I thought
Don't sleep
if
on
you
that.
meant like a house credit, like
No,
like
I'll
a
fucking give you
payback.
a house if you just shut the guy up. Like he was just inane. Like I want a refund on that time, and he can't afford my billable. Like
That's
fuck.
hilarious.
Guy sucks. I offered you a house, and I was like, she's really dissing my house.
Look,
Okay.
lefties need to learn there's certain points you can argue and certain positions you can take, and other ones it's just useless to even try to talk about.
Well, I have an idea. Like if you're gonna make a point, have an actual fact in your fucking head. Like
Lefties
actually
need to
argue-
stop talking about tariffs. That's the first thing I would
Oh,
like to
dear
vote.
God.
All lefties, please stop talking about tariffs.
Well, they act with a level of assertion that this is what's going to happen when this bill passes, and they just don't know. They just don't know.
Just give it time, okay? That's the issue.
Yeah,
If they think they're
that's
so fucking right, wait 6 months. And then fucking shit on everyone, say, I was right, you're wrong, fuck you, the economy is destroyed. But until then, you just look like an idiot.
Call
you
it.
want to be right in that instance with that kind of rhetoric. Like, it would be terrible if they were right.
No, but
So-
I think they want to be though. That's how.
Yeah, they
dyed
want
in
the
wool
economy
they are. They're
destroyed
like,
so they can say, Trump did it, look what Trump did.
I'd rather see everyone fucked and Trump
And
have a
this is
bad
the shit
name
coming from
and
the left.
in the pain. What?
All
Tina?
right.
This
Well,
is coming from the
we
people
have to
on the
go help Rob out. He
Yeah,
is
we're gonna do this.
$200 behind me on the grift. So he's got to make up
we
$200.
You gotta make it up.
So we need to help pick
Do
up Rob. So we're going to raid Rob. Please be sure throw tomatoes and swords and definitely all of your money because we need to help keep. I feel bad. I can't be a girl beating him at the grift. That's unacceptable.
Good luck with your date.
We're
tomorrow.
not gonna. We're not gonna.
Sarah.
Thank you.
You got the Tukas. Of course you can beat him with the grift. It's an unfair.
I'm happy you
competition.
said it. I was thinking
well,
that.
but isn't it more funny if a girl has to help you with your grift
This is true. It's
in
way
order
more
to
funny.
few
bring you
tomatoes.
up to par? So we're-
Open a can of olives for him. Just make
What
make-
you need
make-
to
That
no
would definitely
deal.
show dominance.
What you actually need to do is you get a nice silver dollar and you send it to him, and then you send him some silver polish and you go, "Hey, here's second place. Enjoy."
well, go throw tomatoes and money at Rob and swords and tell him that he needs to up his game on the grift. Outside of that, fuck off.
Oh, there we go. There we fucking go. That's it. That's fucking it. God damn it, the webcam is fucked up. It's fucked up. How are we gonna do it? I know how we're gonna do it. We're just going to... We're gonna do this. There we go. And now, we're going to go into video capture device. We're going to disconnect and we're going to reconnect. Bam, now we have a webcam. Based. Okay. Fuck. Now we're just going to take this. We're going to take the webcam source. Alright, because we're a professional fucking stream. Why is my OBS... I have like 50 scenes in my fucking OBS scene. It's actually cancer. Alright, we're just going to drag this up and off to the side. A little bit like so. Alright. That went a lot better than I expected. Alright. I thought it was going to be bad. I had a little bit of PTSD from joining Backwoods Discord servers, I'm not going to lie. But for some reason, I thought that was going to be worse than a fucking Destiny server, and that wasn't. Alright, I have done 5 and 6v1s in the Destiny server arguing freedom of speech and whether or not Lolicon should be banned. And for some reason, I thought that debate stage was going to be worse than that, and it couldn't be worse than that, alright? It would never be worse than that. So frankly, I had a good time, and I think this time next week we'll be doing a Sarah panel. We're going to come back bigger, stronger than ever, more information, and we're going to swing harder and faster than we ever had. But until then, I'm going to go watch some Bleach with my wife and maybe get some head. And I hope you guys do too. So until next time.